operations oh, I'm glad you're recording. Awesome. Some people asked for it. My base of operations is now in Charlotte, Davidson, North Carolina. I also sell in Asheville, and I'm literally driving 9 hours to Florida every 10 days or hopping on an airplane every 10 days to meet my
Lee,
clients.
how much are you selling versus your team? Like, is this working with bank and credit unions? Are you giving leads to your team directly, or are you mostly just coaching them? Is it mostly you that's selling most of the real estate? How does that work?
Awesome. All great questions. So those numbers, those sale numbers, those are just me. We're a non-traditional team. We're more of a group where a lot of teams, report to the leader, or it's based on their sales, etc. For me, what I try to do is I try to help grow these realtors. I help grow their business. I help coach and train them of how to get their sales higher, how to handle the highs and the lows, the psychology, all that, but where to go get that business. Now, do I do some of the realtors? Absolutely. But hard to show how to go get on their own. The worst thing is to be the realtor who's reliant on your team lead or someone to just give you business, because it won't sustain ever because of the ebbs and the flows. You got to figure out how to go out and get your own business. So yeah, all that. I'm more of a participation kind of where, let's take or for example, the Orlando market, or even Allison here in Charlotte, where so I'll be quite honest with you. I have been doing this long enough that I don't want to be out in the trenches showing homes all the time. So I'm kind of choosy when I could show, but I'm more the backup for the agents when they can't show. So when one of our agents is in a pinch or has or needs someone to step in, I always have their back for them. So a lot of the times I'll have our agents participate in the transaction with me, where it's not just being a showing assistant, but it's okay. You're gonna handle. We had the TCs for the contract, so they don't need to write the contract, but they're gonna handle inspector and getting in and all those things. But I'll handle most of the negotiating, and same thing on listings. So, to bring up your point of banks and credit unions. So I'm very unique where years ago I got connected, started seeing a lot of transactions coming from Partners Credit Union. I had no idea what the hell that was. Turns out that's Disney's credit union, and I lived and sold right in Disney's backyard. If there's anyone here in Orlando, Winter Garden area, say hi. We'd love to. Yeah. So I went to partners and guys, there are things you can do. So this part is important. Is I went to partners and I said, hey, keep for me, guys. I'd love to work with you more. I'm right here. How do we work together? And she's like, well, you got to join what's called Home Manage Program at the time, which is kind of a defunct thing right now. And so I said, great, sign me up. And she's like, well, it's not that easy. You got to go through this third party company who vets you. And turns out there was a 4,000 agent waiting list to get on nationally. And I'm like, well, I'm dead in the water. Well, turns out, I sent a couple of emails and I asked the partners people to make a call if they could. And next thing you know, I was in. And that led to relationships with now, I think, is 6 or 7 credit unions, 2 major banks. And it's all because I asked. And that's the one thing we take away from me today, guys, is ask the question. But let's back it up about asking the question. You need a plan to ask the questions. How to ask the question correctly, but you need to know who are you asking, what are you asking, when are you asking. But more importantly, comes down to time blocking, which is one of the first things that I do in my business and that I teach our agents. Can I ask a question here? If you can give a thumbs up or a hand, who here literally every day, every week is time blocking, goal setting, and following a plan of action every week to grow your business? I see 2 so far. Keep raising those hands, because I cannot say to you how important it is to time block And great job, guys. Everyone that's doing it, do more of it, because if you're able to put on your calendar, okay, and literally it's on my calendar for a new credit union right now. It's the next thing to do after this call is to reach out to Trilliant Federal Credit Union here in North Carolina. Anyways, that's there. But put on that calendar wherever you are in your local is make a list of the credit unions and the banks, and go in there and ask them, hey, who is your mortgage leader? Who's the leader that reach out to them? Do you have a preferred realtor program? Okay. That's funny, Scott. Do you have a preferred realtor program? Is there a way I could get in? If you don't have one, can we talk about starting one? And anyone here who wants me to help them on that, wants some free advice on this, just contact Graham after, or however you want to get a hold of me, Goldberg the realtor. Or even you go to these folks and do it. But for example, Bank of America. Bank of America has, most people, agents don't know this, and I'm trying to launch into more markets with them, because for them, they'd rather have a few guys like people like me versus 1,000 of me. But try to strategize and figure out where you're at and what market you serve, and ask the question. Bank of America has something called the REC, the Real Estate Center. They've had it for almost 20 years. 50 million unique visitors go to their website every year looking at properties through local IDXs. Agents who are part of it get their listings put and pushed and promoted on there. Is it moving the needle? Maybe not, but it's something more of an advantage when I go against the next agent for a listing presentation. I could bring up that I'm one of America's preferred realtors. They have 50 million unique visitors to the website every year. My listings go on there. More importantly, I get leads. I get buyer leads. Now, Paige, that is where I do send out to my team. And for agents in my sphere are the BOA leads. They're not always the best, but they are real leads, and there's no cost to them. I don't need to pay anything to be a part of it. It's the fact that I've been having this relationship for years now and working it, and it takes a long time. Banks and credit unions take a long time to get anything in motion. But I challenge you guys to make a list of 5 to 10 institutions and call them and time block and goal set and say, I want to get one of them where I'm their preferred realtor. Now, don't think of this as a typical lender-realtor relationship, because sadly, many times those are a little tit for tat. What have you done for me lately? It shouldn't be like that. But many lenders and even realtors treat it like that, where they say, hey, I need you to send me some business. I don't want a lender to send me business. I want that lender to help me go hunt for business, which is something I can help you too, meaning doing events, and not even open houses. We're talking about creating events or go sponsoring events together, something where you can go and create business versus give me a handout. That lender's got 50 realtors he's trying to get business from, right? It's going to be almost impossible to get some organic business out of him unless you do it together. Now, the banks and credit unions are different. Sure, would they love me to send some business their way? Absolutely. Do I? Of course I do. However, that's not what the deal is. The deal here is that they want me to take care of their members at such a high level where those members are raving back to the credit union. The credit union's looking good. Now, what I do with the credit unions, which is my agreement with them, but with Bank of America, they don't care if I do this or not. But I do this. You guys don't have to do this, and in your state, it might not even be kosher. I know that for our team in Kansas City, where I'm not licensed, where we do have a BOA funnel going. We have Kansas City, Asheville, Gainesville, Orlando, Space Coast. I have BOA coming in, and I can get in other markets, but it has to be a really got to build a really good case of awesome personnel and a need. I'm in Charlotte. They will not, and their head. I have lunch with them regularly. They will not give me Charlotte yet because it's so saturated. Like, you got to wait or some other markets that you want. And so, which that's fine. I'll take the other markets, which goes back to don't be afraid to leave your area, right? Like, so, Sean, you're in Brevard. I don't know if you sell in Winter Garden. You should. If you don't, because if I'm in Brevard, Launch Credit Union, NASA's credit union, 13 branches, 3 of them on base. And what's up, Cassidy? I'm a big space dork. And so being on base and talking to those folks is just amazing for me. That's the coolest part right now, being a realtor for me. But Launch Credit Union, 13 branches on the Space Coast, 1 preferred realtor, 1. 100 of their business goes to that one person for the last 7 years. Who's that guy? Been me. And I don't even live in the county. I'm an hour and 15 minutes from the county. So you got to change that mindset. Same goes for builders. Right now, I've had 2 builders, one in Gainesville, one in Palm Coast. If anyone's in Gainesville, Ocala as well, Palm Coast area, I could probably put you to work. 2 builders reached out to me asking if I could bring my realtor builder program to them. So Paige, when you ask, what am I doing for realtors, right? And this isn't just immediate locally because I'm all over the place, right? For me, what my value proposition, where some people say, yes, I'm spending $15,000 a month on Zillow leads. Well, good luck, because I don't know how that maths, but great on that if it works. For some people it does. For me, buying leads has never worked. But the value prop of what I have for the agents is, 1, the bank/credit union. But B, it's also the new construction. And guys, what's happening with new construction is they're going farther and farther out of the metro areas. Now, some are picking up some lots here and there and building, an 8-plex or a couple of single family. But the big communities where the good value is, it's just like when Winter Garden, right behind Disney World, was called Horizon West, was the fastest growing part of Florida. It's now mostly built out. They're still building, so everything's gone farther out. Follow the money of the builders and do not be scared to go out there to build relationships with those sales reps and offer to sit in inventory homes for open houses. Offer to help them if someone needs to list a home, you'll give them a discount. Most won't bite on that. The big boys, Lennar, DR, they won't bite on that. They used to. They won't bite on that anymore. You got to find the medium to smaller regional and local builders. For example, one of my builders is Adams. They're actually a national, just not a huge national builder. So you got to find the right people. But if you fail to plan, right, you plan to fail. You need to treat this as if it is for me, we treat it as, my background's in sports. So we treat it as an NFL training camp. We know exactly what we're going to do every minute of the day. Like you got to have personal and professional. I had nap time built in today's schedule. I have gym time built in today's schedule. I have kid pickup at school, but I also have, 17 other things that are sprinkled throughout the day that I know what I need to do.
Lee, I would like to know about your builder package. Like, how did you get in with these builders? What is your builder package? What does that look like?
Great question. And this is something that, again, same offer for all of you. Be more than happy to mastermind directly or even help do this. And before you go in and do this, do a lot of research. Don't just go in guns blazing. So my builder package started at the very beginning of Horizon West, which, again, a huge community right on the northwest side of Magic Kingdom. We can see fireworks from my daughter's bedroom upstairs. Beautiful view too. In Magic Kingdom is boom right there. So none of that area is tourist or investment. It's crazy. It's a total separation of all of it. And so that area had exploded. And I was one of the first in that area. And I found out about the area only because I got divorced. And I started renting a shitty apartment down the street from it. And I started noticing all the orange groves going away. And so I just started investigating. And in fact, back in the day, I was doing this big time with DR and Lennar. And what I basically said to them was, and now I have it with Adams Homes, Estelle Homes, Brookline Homes, that's all right now, but that's in 3, but that's actually in over 4 markets. And so what I say to them is, listen, to be a resource for you. We want you to pick our brains in what is going on in the market. What are other builders doing? What are we seeing? That's number one. Number two, we want to bring people to you. We want to come out and do a lot of social media and push your packages. I also want to offer my services. If you have someone that needs to go contingent to close their home, or if they need a little money back, which, I mentioned this, I said was illegal in some states. I give 20% back, guys, of what we make. I use as our buyer rebate towards closing costs as long as the lender allows it. Like I said, some states doesn't allow that, so you got to figure out a workaround if there is one, but always do it kosher no matter what, never under the table. But what I would say to the builders is that if you have someone that needs to go contingent, and they need a discount, I'm going to do it for them. If they need a rebate, I'm going to give it to them. If you need someone, and this is where the mid to small builders come into play, guys. If you need, because they're not always fully staffed, if you need someone to sit in your models on your off days, we will do that for you. Okay. We will sit open houses in your inventory homes on the weekends for you, which I got news for you. Those homes perform better than the model. And by the way, if I do have an awesome open house module, part of my online training program. If you want my open house module, same thing. Send me a DM on Instagram, Goldberg the Realtor, with your email address. And you don't even need to send me your email address. Just say, hey, I want it. And I'll just copy and paste and send it to you in IG. It's a really good 10-minute open house module. But so we sit in the awesome, Emma. I will not see this again. Please just send me the DM on IG. That way they're all in one place. And so the builders sit in their inventory open houses. Now, here's the important part, guys, especially if you're an agent at an online brokerage like Real, right? There's no offices, which, by the way, you should have in an office. So you on a Wednesday afternoon, here are your options to work. Okay. And you should be time blocked and goal set and know exactly what you're doing for your real estate day to go and procure new business and handle the business you have. True or not true? True. Right? So your options are work from your home office, work from your office with probably non-productive realtors, non-producing, or go to a Starbucks where you could actually pick up some business, but it's going to be a little too loud sometimes, right? So or a park or something like that. Or you go sit in a builder's model on a Tuesday. You're showing them that you're there for them and you're available, even if no one comes in for the day. Now, obviously, we want people to come in, but if no one comes in, cool. You needed to work somewhere. For me, I get my best and most work done when I'm there on a Tuesday and I know no one is coming in because I need that silence. And it's okay that no one's coming in, because if I can't sit there on their off days, why should I be allowed to sit on their on days? So they allow us to sit inventory homes on Saturdays with the open house flags and the banners, and it's an MLS. That will draw more people than sitting the model. Now, one of the sales reps and one of the builders doesn't work Sundays. For what reason? Well, guess who sits there on a Sunday? We do. And by the way, I still do this. Like Lee Goldberg, 15 years in, 35 million in annual sales. I am still sitting new construction opens all the time because it's such a great way to get business. Now, the next thing is the message, guys. Okay. So the message, when you have these opportunities, when you're talking to these folks or you're in there, you're there to sell the builder's home, right? But you're also there to get business. Now, I did have one builder actually about 18 months ago in Florida say, Lee, anyone that comes in, they don't want to buy, I'll say the builder, I don't care, Richmond American, if they aren't going to buy our home, we do not want you helping them in anything else. So I said, so if the price point is off or you don't have what they have, you're not going to allow me to help them when I could actually provide help and be a resource, and I'm going to give them some money back, right? And so I ended that relationship because of that. But we are adamant in making sure that they stay with that builder. But once we determine that they can't, then we will take them somewhere else, or show them resale. I just went to contract on 575 on Sunday from a person that I met 45 days ago at a builder here in North Carolina. And she didn't want to buy there because it just didn't work for her. And so the key is when you're there is having the right message, guys. And that message really is, hey, I don't work for the builder. I'm an outside realtor, but I'm here helping them, but I'm here to help you as well. I'll answer any questions you have, et cetera. And that's how you start it. You go through it. Then by the end of the showing, you should be, all right, hey, listen, what do you think of this? Is this, once you determine whether they want to move forward or not, it's, hey, I can still help you. I can give you your rebate. I can still be there for you. If you determine that these folks won't work for you, use me. And these are important words. This is something that means a lot to me, but I say it a lot because it's true. I want to be their educational real estate resource. That's it. I want to be there to be that person to answer those questions and give them the proper information. It's okay if we're not buying today. It's okay if we're buying in 6 months or a year. Once you show that non-desperation, guys, it's a game changer. You cannot be desperate. You can't be too pushy. You can't be that new sales rep sending a text every other day asking about the buyer. Hey, if I had an update, dude, I'd give you one. I want to sell a house just as much as you do. So if you could start time blocking and goal setting and saying, hey, how can I do things a little different with a builder? How can I ask to sit in their inventory homes? How can I find a mid-level builder where I can sit during the week for them? Don't look at it as, oh, I'm dead. This is worthless. Do not look at it like that. Look at it as, I am blessed with the time during the day for silence if no one comes in to get my work done. And if someone does come in, I have a chance to sell a home, because sitting at home, sitting in an office is not going to bring you anyone anyway. So you might as well be somewhere where someone could sell you a home, right?
I love that.
And
Free
then,
office space, especially with being at Real when you don't have one.
bingo. Yep. So we do that all the time. And that's part of everything that I coach and teach. And I tell agents, you should be doing that minimal. Hold on, my camera's moving. Let me do that. Minimal, a weekday and a weekend day. Keep a weekend day for family and yourself. I totally get it. I used to do 2 open houses a day. But if I could suggest this to you guys, how about especially as we change time and the sun gets later going into summer, how about a mocktail hour on a Thursday or Friday, sunset happy hour, open house, or even at your own house on the driveway? How do you meet people, right? People are going to inevitably ask, what do you do, right? Now, I tell people when they ask me what I do, I usually go with something like, the indicator on the cars, the sound. I'm the guy who comes up with that sound for Eastern European automobiles. And then they'll pause and they'll be like, what are you talking about? And then I'll just keep going down a rabbit hole, or I'll tell them I'll breed turtles. My point is, I'm different. I'm unconventional. I want to get people to laugh. If I just say I'm a realtor, that shuts the conversation down. Everyone's a realtor. Everyone knows a realtor.
Wait, do you really breed turtles though?
No, I don't, but it's a great story because now in our Vegas property, we do have a tortoise that we found. It was this small, it's bigger. Her name is Mazda. But what I do tell people is I breed turtles, and right now I'm working on a Thompson gazelle tortoise. It's the fastest of its class, and it jumps to avoid its prey. And especially like in a bar situation, and I don't drink, but in a bar, people will believe a lot and they'll laugh. And then I'll break it and I'll be like, no, I'm just kidding. And then they'll laugh and I'll say, well, what am I? If I tell you I'm a realtor, where's the fun in that? Then they're going to start asking me questions about should I buy or should I sell? So now I'm putting it in their head, right? Without having to say it like that. And I don't want to have that conversation. It's like, if you're a dentist, I'm not going to say, look at my tooth. We could schedule all that during the week. Let's have fun tonight, right? And then boom, you just break that down, and relationships get built. And for me, it's not even about those people. It's about who do those people know, right?
Yeah.
It's the people I meet. Who do they know? Who can they introduce me to?
Yeah.
How long
Everybody
are
that you're connected with has somebody. Sorry, Kayla, go ahead.
It's okay. How long are your open houses, and how do you strategically plan them during the week and then on the weekends? And are you door knocking?
Awesome question. So traditionally we do about Saturdays and Sundays 1 to 4. 2 hours are fine, but if you're going to do all setup and do all that for 2 hours, you might as well do for 3, because open houses are weird. People come right at the beginning and people come right at the end, and they're fickle. I love door knocking. Door knocking, it's part of my training program. Door knocking was introduced to me very early on by a title company who, when they asked me about it, I said to them, "Got to be freaking crazy. I'm not door knocking." And I just did it, what you don't know, and you're scared of. Yes. And I suggest everyone take someone with you, whether a lender, a title rep, or someone else. If it's 2 dudes, I don't recommend that, because no one wants to answer the door for 2 dudes. I used to take my daughter. I've taken my dog. I've taken my scooter. I mean, I've done everything. Now, how to do it, right? So let's say you're doing open houses every week, okay? Let's be honest. If you're going to do the following steps that I'm talking about, which you should do, it could get tiring. It could. That's why you can't go too heavy on things. You could say, well, no one came today, it must not be working. You got to do it over and over and over again for it to have the proper result, because some weeks it'll be great and some weeks it won't. So yes to door knocking. Now, some places are no solicitation, etc. So I'll say, well, I'm not soliciting. And you guys have heard this line, I just want to let you, which is crazy, just give me my number, let you know we're gonna have a busy open house, and if someone parks in front of your driveway, to call me. Okay, first of all, no one ever parks in front of a driveway, and secondly, 15 houses down the street around the corner, no one's parking there to come to the open house. So let's be genuine in our messaging, okay? Let's not try to trick people or BS people. But I'll say point blank, hey, maybe someone that might want to live in the neighborhood. We've heard that before, right? Or, hey, I would love for you to come by and get your thoughts on it. Now, in North Carolina, we can't do a lottery or anything. You can't say, come by, we're going to have a contest. Now, I've done that before and this and that, and quite frankly, those don't work either. And you're just putting a basket together. You might as well go sponsor an event and then do a basket. That'll be a lot better for you. So many times you can now things changed if with your call, how to call now in January. So haven't really looked into that genie in the bottle yet, but we used to call the neighborhood. But nothing's better than belly to belly and getting in front of people. Social media, I'll always do a social media post on Instagram and Facebook. I'll boost it most occasions. A good turnout for me on an open is 5+ families. Honestly, many times I'll get 15. I'll actually get 15 a lot. And I do things different on my open houses, which if you watch my module, you'll see. And again, let me say this, guys. What works for me might not work for you. What works for you might not work for me. There are things that Paige does, I'm sure, that I wish would work for me, but probably just don't. And that's just how it is. And so you got to figure out, what works for you. Take from Paige, take from me, take from Matt, take from all these people, put your own little pixie dust and figure it out. But always have those people in your corner who have been there, because you'd be shocked at how much you can learn. But also be able to take criticism, guys. All right. You got to have really thick skin in this business. But the most thing for me in an open house is just one. I only want one. If I could get one person I can convert, then I spent 3 hours, probably 2 to 3 hours prep, so 6 hours total, to go make anywhere between $10,000 to $30,000. Okay. All right, cool. I will certainly go work for 6 hours to get just one lead. Now, do I get more than one? Absolutely. But again, messaging is key. And if you watch my module, you'll understand what I'm talking about. But the thing that I say to people at the end of the open house, honestly, is listen, I'm your educational resource. I want to help you. Let's talk sometime. If you want to jump into a homeowner university Zoom call, what's homeowner university aside from the word meow is right in the middle of homeowner. You'll never see it different now. I use that one a lot just to make people laugh, right? I see Angelique laughing, Pedro laughing. There you go. I want to break people down. This is human relations is the business that we're in. Okay. We're not here to sell homes. Any idiot could sell a home, right? You've seen some of the realtors out there. It's about human relationship is what this career is. Okay.
Biggest thing is how you
And
make people feel is what I've heard a lot. Like you have to make people feel good about themselves, make them feel better after the interaction than they did before.
but you got to be genuine, and people can smell a phony. Okay. And so you want to be genuine about it. And most importantly, you want to listen. That's the problem with almost everything in the world, is that people don't listen. And it's not just listening, it's letting them know that you listen, telling them that you listen, reiterating the thing, taking notes on a pad and paper, not in your phone. It's disingenuous because you could say you're taking notes, but you're on Instagram, because I've done it and we've all done it. Okay. And so what I tell them is, hey, I want to be that resource for you. Let's hop on that Home Loan University call. I'll bring my lender in. Let's figure out a success plan for you. What works best? What is your buying power? What is the smart move for you? So it's hitting these bullet points. It's speaking in the highs and lows and the right pregnant pauses and the inflections, because people are looking at you for that guidance. They want that person standing in front of them to say, damn, that's my person right there. I feel confident with the biggest event in my life, most likely, with that person who I just met out of nowhere coming into an open house, and you have 30 seconds to get on their radar. And of course, I also throw in, and if you use me, I'm going to give 20% back. So I'm going to save you a couple grand. And the other thing is, this is where I differ from most, which is in my module, I use no paper. I say I'm green. I don't print anything out. I don't give you a flyer because that could change, and why waste all that paper? And I'm not going to have a sign-in sheet because I can't read what you're writing. So I like to text over to you the link and some information so you have it, and I promise I will spam text you. And 99.9% of those people, yes, and guess what I have at that moment? What do I have?
Their number.
Their number and consent. And
Yeah.
we'll always give a follow-up, and I'll have in there about the 20% back. I'll have the link about who I am. I'll say, follow me on IG, but I don't make it too overwhelming. And you'd be surprised how well that does. Because if you just have them come in and scribble and you can't read that, you let them walk out the door and they have your business card, I got news for you. They ain't never calling you. But if you have the proper messaging, and you know what? I dare you guys, prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. Use some of these messaging tools and tell me they don't work for you. And I'd love to help you out. But I know you're going to tell me, Lee, they do work more.
I love it. We're about 10 minutes over time, so I appreciate you taking the time for us, Lee. No, you're good. I appreciate your time and you coming on. I feel like it's always great to hear from somebody who's done it, who's like at this level that they're just killing it. Some of your sources, how you got from freaking driving a taxi to having a, national team in multi different states and just killing it. So you guys find Lee on Instagram. He's super helpful, super open, willing to share. I freaking love him. And anyways, I want the open house module, so I'm going to be asking you for it because, I need to get my open house a little bit more dialed. So, Lee, thank you so much. Everybody, thank you for coming on, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you, Paige. Thank you, everyone. You guys.